Thanks for staying with us. Now, a new report from PwC suggests that as soon as 2025 to 2030, a market economy could readily exist without banks of the traditional kind. The report says the future shape of banking says that as barriers to entry for non-banks to provide formally core banking services continue to decline, the business model of today's bank will be challenged. So, however, banks retain some substantial advantage to help them prevent this from happening. Banks' brands and reputation remains powerful, shored up by familiarity, experience, and regulation. Trust and brand matter in financial transactions, and some of this resistance to alternative banking provides results from a lack of trust in their security. So, trust and brand will be the real deal when it comes to people that will do transactions in the future. So I don't know, for some of us that are very, very, we don't know anything about banking, except we have the experts here. What should we expect, right, from our banks in the future? That's the question for tonight. Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Twitter has been removed from my mouth. Praise the Lord. But I want to quickly hear AK and let me hear AK, because AK is we'll just hear you. Yes, we'll hear you, then we'll now bring in the guests. So tell me, what do you think the future of banking would look like?
Collaboration. It has to be, because already you have people that are waiting to take the market from the banks. Obviously, the fintech, we talked about this last week. But the banks are not just going to sit down and allow it happen. And if you see the trends and you see what's happening in the market and the kind of products that the banks are releasing every day and they're churning out every day, there's one new song in my head about a particular bank. Yes. So they're not sleeping, okay? They're also rising up to the occasion. But with all the regulations and then with the closed system that we have and we're not sharing, how is that going to be possible? I know it's going to happen. And that's why I'm so excited that we have DG here, the expert, to tell us, about open banking. Is it going to happen when this is going to happen? It's going to happen faster. What's enabling? It's going to solve financial inclusion and the likes.
This financial inclusion matter, because I think that's where the fintechs are really getting it right. That financial inclusion. That's
I think they're even coming for the bank's customers because it's seamless, it's easy. You do it on your phone. You don't need to talk to anybody. You don't need to beg anybody.
Like me, like me, that I'm a snob. I don't like to interact. I just want to be by myself. So you can just be in the comfort of your home and do everything.
So I think it's not just they're targeting everybody. If they can, they will.
Okay.
What's your experience like in banking? Do you have any issues that you would like to table before the financial people?
For me, basically, I want to know how this will actually affect those who do not have access to internet or to be able to, have data on their phones. I want to know what this will mean. Will there be financial inclusion? How will they be able to include
I think most of this technology, they do have all those short codes that you send. But it's not
your forte.
Adedeji Olowe is the CEO of Trum Limited, a venture building and capital investor. Before this, he was an executive director with System Specs Limited, that's Remita, one of the largest fintechs in Nigeria. He was also the divisional head of electronic banking at Fidelity Bank PLC, where he was responsible for turnaround of the bank's digital businesses. Now, he was previously responsible for UBA's payment card business across 19 countries. And alongside other industry veterans, he founded Open Banking Nigeria, the non-profit driving development and adoption of common API standards for the Nigerian financial industry. You see all this money matters? Well, he's joined us live in studio. Thank you so much, Adedeji, for joining us. I'm just, you see, banking, tell us.
It's interesting, though.
So when I saw the CBN, the story I took when we took the news, when I saw that CBN was considering having their own digital currency, I said, okay. what's happening? So it just made me to see that truly, you know, because people say that the future of money or is digital currency and all of that, but you don't, it doesn't come close to home except you start to hear policies like this that are happening, or that they want to launch this, they want to launch that. People have been doing these things, but a lot of people are still very skeptical when it comes to anything digital banking and all of that, because they just believe that somebody can just disappear, poof, I will not trace the money and everything. So maybe you should tell us, first of all, what do you think the fears are when it comes to transacting business, you know, especially financial business online, like digital businesses? What do you think the fears are, or the risk?
Okay, thank you so much. I think I will start by saying that a good technology is like magic, right? A good technology is something that you don't know is there. Look, you've got these amazing phones with you, and then you can actually say something to it, and it can answer you. How do you think it works? It's because we just made it so simple. So yes, we are always scared of what we are not familiar with. So somebody tells you, oh, do you know you can do transfer? Oh, are you going to see my bank account? No. When it becomes so easy to use, then everybody does it. Today we use this word alert. Oh, have you got an alert on your phone? Everybody's excited. Oh, send money to me. How do you think we do it? It's easy. It's simple now. When I was younger and I started my banking career, if you want to have a card on your account, you have to go to the bank. You have to stay a long time. Come back 3 weeks after your card is yet to come out, you're fighting someone. Some people are practically holding you from slapping someone because you need to have your card. Now, you go into a bank, you come out in 15 minutes, you have a card. And then you can use your card on any bank's ATM. You can get your card right, and then the next day you are using your card outside Nigeria without thinking of how it works. That's how good technology works. The risks are there, but the risks are being handled by the experts. And when they handle it for you, I have no idea how much trouble you've been saved. So I guess it's something exciting to look forward to.
I like your positive outlook.
What options do we have?
If I may step in there.
Okay.
I know that I don't like to do transfers. I don't do all those stuff. But yes, I'm a native. I don't like things like that. But
and I was hoping you to send money to me.
Okay, so from this perspective, basically, we know that the digital space is so important in Nigeria currently today, and it's not everybody that is, you know, aware of how to use it. So what would this mean for Nigerians, and especially those who are, how do I put it now? Like those who those who are who do not want stories. Basically, that's number one, and number two, Rekia Mohammed. She said something, one of the directors in CBN said something about, you know, having two monies now, or two currencies in Nigeria currently. So what would this mean for the average Nigerian, and what would this mean for the Nigerian economy?
Okay, thank you so much. So let's look at, people think this is going to be difficult. Then I can remember the first phone I had. It was a Motorola Talkabout, right? The manual of that phone was so thick, you could stack it to be the house, right? Now, when last did you see any phone come with it? No, it doesn't happen. Now, in the olden days, we all thought because Nigerians were not educated, because illiteracy is very big in Nigeria. Oh, they don't know how to use phones. They don't know how to. Now, Nigerians are, like, literally, I think only a psychopath doesn't have a phone in Nigeria. Every single person, even almost to the poorest people. Yes. And then you ask yourself, how do they do this thing? Right? They don't know how to read. Have you asked yourself, how do they even load airtime into their phones? They all know how to do it. There's something called, it's like functional literacy. You bring out a child of 6 months, they know how to use Instagram, right? When that time comes, we will know how to use it. Okay. My old great-grandparents knew how to count money, even if they couldn't read it. They knew what was £1, they knew what was 15. Did they have 15? I didn't know. They didn't have. That was but basically, when that time comes, it's going to become natural to everybody. The same way right now, even the people at the bottom of the pyramid make more phone calls than the average person. They know who's calling them. They know how to call people. So this technology that is driving payments will become very pervasive, that one day you wake up and discover that, wait, this thing was complex some years ago. And that's the way it is. Look, right, I think that's what's going to happen. Now, when you talk about new currencies, having two currencies, see, here's the thing. The average Nigerian is poor. Whether you have 3 currency or 1 currency, if you are poor, you are poor. When you have the money, you spend it. The average Nigerian that is rich has dollars, pounds, euro, and naira. The average Nigerian that is poor is fighting with his governor to have minimum wage of 10%. So I think is a wrong thing to be thinking about, asking that whether we'll crypto by the year. When that comes out, fine, we all meet it there. But the most important thing is you mentioned things like financial inclusion, people having access to financial services at cost-effective rates, in ways that is easy for them to understand, having to give consent before people have access to the account. I think that's more important than whether we have a CBN-backed crypto or we have whether we have just single currency in the country.
Wow. So it won't affect the economy. That's what you're saying.
Sincerely, I don't know, because we haven't seen any country successfully do this. So, and the interesting bit is that when you look at CBN is actually usually very forward-looking when it comes to technology. We're one of the countries to start doing faster payment. If you go to the US today, you still can't send money instantly between banks, right? Yeah. UK started 2010 or so. We started like 2011. Most countries are just doing it now, and they're clapping for themselves. And we're looking at it now like, wow.
We've been there, done that.
Absolutely. So we believe that, look, let's see what happens. It's too early to say whether it's going to damage the economy or not.
Okay.
But if the fundamental of the economy hasn't changed, well, it's of no, that's not an argument.
Okay. So last week, the discussion was fintech versus banks.
Okay.
We were looking at the fintechs being a disruption to banks, being a threat to banks. And we also went to talk about regulation, how that is impeding the banks from really actually competing in that space. But now let's go to open banking, because I think we tried to broach the topic. Do you think that open banking is a response to the fintech threat? And please, first of all, tell us what is open banking. I think I've jumped in.
Because some of us don't know nothing.
Okay, so I'll make it easy for you. See, open banking is a very big word that is confusing to everybody. Half of the time it's confusing myself, right? But let's make it easy. You've got a card, right? From a bank, you've got another card from another bank. You notice that you can go to any bank and put in your card and it works. Why do you think it happens? Because at one time, banks came together and say, all our cards will look the same and behave the same way, so that I won't have to have ATMs across the world, because I will never be able to do it. By agreeing to a common standard, it made it possible for payments to expand, and the cost was lower for every bank. Now, that's an open standard. Now, when it comes to open banking, it's the same API standard for every bank. So if you pick a bank, let's say an Access Bank, their APIs will be similar to what any bank has. It doesn't mean Access Bank is going to give you access to their API. It doesn't mean it's going to be free, right? But whenever you get it, right, the same way Access Bank API works is the same way as any bank API works. That commonality, right, having the same standard, the same taxonomy, the same way of doing stuff, is what is called open banking. The rest is just confusion.
Okay, so I like to find the money in everything.
Okay.
But I know that as we migrate to this structure where the future of banking now continues to grow into, the digital space, where is the money in it? Where are the opportunities, for small businesses? Where are the opportunities for, people that want to probably come into that space? So they begin to think probably in that light, and it's more welcoming. Okay, for instance, now, when all this Paga and all of those things started, you see all these small pockets here of money, what do they call them? Money, whatever. Agents. Thank you, that's the word. So where's the opportunity, and what is the real future for banking? If you were to analyze the future of banking, what would that be, and where are the opportunities?
Okay, fine. So I would say there's going to be tons and tons of money for everybody. This is one of those rare cases where everybody's a winner. Yeah, I know you're looking excited. So let me give you an example of what works. So today, in Nigeria today, everybody can send money. It's not having the money to spend is not the problem, not how to send it. Last year, the whole industry, banks between themselves sent over 2 billion transactions, about 184 trillion or something like that. Now, this year, they are going to double that. And then you ask yourself, those things called 10 naira, 15 naira, where do you think that money is going to? It's going to somebody's pockets, making some people rich. Fine. But then the ability to send that money easily is enabling businesses. So today I walk into go to Alaba market, I want to buy some random stuff. That shops that they actually prefer you sending them money than carrying cash, because they don't even trust you that you drop the cash, then you send some boys.
Fake notes.
Oh, fake notes, even okay. Send boys to
collect it afterwards.
Everybody prefers transfers right now. it has enabled business. Just imagine for a moment, if for 1 month, the whole of June, right, transfers are banned along with Twitter, what do you think we're going to look like? You can't, okay.
We can't imagine.
Absolutely. So money will be made, because what open banking does is that it will create opportunities for products, for services, for transactions. Now, when it comes to financial inclusion, that's the interesting part. We have about only 45% of Nigerians are financially included. Then we've got tons and tons of our fellow Nigerians out there without access. Now, banks don't want to go to the villages, right? Because they don't have the DNA and they don't understand how to run those smaller transactions. Now, the super agents that want to go to the village, that don't mind climbing rocks and do all kind of random things, don't have the right to be banks. They can't take deposit. Open banking allows these fintech super agents to go to the places banks don't want to go. And then they are using those open API to open accounts for banks that decide to sit in VI. Now, everybody is happy. The guy in Kaura Namoda gets his account open. Super agents opens an account. Banks has an account. Transactions flow. Everybody's fine. So what happens with technology is that every single time technology removes friction, you see people do stuff that we don't know. We all screaming about Twitter. Was that on Twitter 5 years ago? No. Does Twitter even put food on my table?
No.
For a lot of people, it does. Right. Now, that has created stuff. Right. We see what happens on the internet. The internet empowered a lot of people. Then we ask ourselves, 4 years ago, internet was so expensive in Nigeria. How did we survive? Now, when open banking comes, you're going to look back and say, how did we even manage to survive all this? That's what's going to happen. Because what you have is what we call embedded banking, where banking will become a fabric of everything you do. So you're on Instagram, you see some very nice wig, you don't know whether it's fake or real. Anyway, you press pay first, and then instantly, right from Instagram, you don't even need to log into your bank account. You're on the internet, you get to Juma, you can buy anything, you use USSD, and somewhere you can do it. It's just going to be seamless. You get to a shop, you want to buy something you like, and you can get a loan on the spot. That's the future.
We get a loan.
We shall come back to that. Everybody will be carrying this everywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back.